now it's my honor to introduce our speaker this month, Kim Mabon. Kim Mabon has been working as a creative professional for 20 years. Wow, 20 years.
Wow.
Yeah, I know, wow. During that time, she's worked with a variety of advertising agencies, publishing companies, and businesses of all types. She's received over 60 awards from various organizations for creative works, including several gold and silver awards from the Association Trends, as well as multiple Maggie Awards from the Western Publication Association. Kim serves on the board of directors with the Corona Chamber of Commerce, as well as Tuesday Morning Stars Networking Group. And Kim is the founder and CEO of Creative by Design, a full-service agency, helping their customers improve their bottom line with high-quality, consistent, and effective graphic and web designs, as well as print and promotional products. She's also a published author, an Adobe creative trainer, and public speaker. Ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome Kim Mabon.
All right, yeah.
Thank you very much. All right. Good morning, Corona.
Good morning.
Yeah. How many of you have bought an ad and did not get the results from it that you would have liked? I think more than 4 people have
Oh, come on.
wasted money.
Fess up.
There's nothing worse for a small business, or any business for that matter, to spend your hard-earned dollars on an ad and then not see that return. There's lots of reasons for those to not get the returns that you're looking for. Today we're going to cover some of the graphic or content of your ad that can cause your ad to fail for you. So today I'm going to be covering the 5 common mistakes that people make in their advertising. And please bear with me if I go a little fast. I will be cramming a 2-hour presentation into 20 minutes.
Wow.
So I want to make sure you leave here with some good information. I'm going to start with a little disclaimer. If you see your company's ad in this presentation, I'm sorry. But I promise I'm just trying to help you improve. So let's get started with the mistakes. Excuse us, sorry, I'm trying to get this to advance. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, we're having a little bit of technical difficulty here. So we're going to get started with the top 5 mistakes. These are not the only mistakes, but these are the ones that we've seen most common in some of the ads that have come my way. So as they catch up with me. One of the top mistakes is your logo. Your logo should not be, we're going to go ahead and go to the next one. Your logo should not be the largest element of your ad. Unless you're Nike and you've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars getting brand recognition for your logo is not what speaks to your potential customer or client. A good logo is important, but it's not the only thing that can brand you. Color, shapes, different things that can brand you. If you see a brown truck driving down the street, what company do you think of? That's because they've branded themselves with brown trucks. It's not just the logo. It could not have a logo on it and you'd think UPS truck. So the style, the design, and the color also can brand your business for you. Working? Thank you.
Like a red truck.
Yes, Jim Dorsey has his red cars going through the town. He uses that as a brand to help establish his brand. There we go. So here's an example of something we did for an organization where the purple corner banner was what helped identify every piece of their material. The graphics, the image can all change, but that brand of that purple corner began to be recognized for that company. So mistake number 2 is lack of a clear message. You see this ad and right away, you can't really tell what it is that they're doing. You have to spend some time looking at it. So, headlines and body copy, they don't relay a clear message. There's no flow to the copy. Your eye jumps all over the place. When someone looks at your ad, they should be able to go through it very quickly. Too much copy. Things all over the place, cramming everything into every square inch of your ad. You might be thinking that you're trying to get as much information as you can in there, but you're hurting yourself when you do that. And I'll cover why in a little bit. Or there's no message at all. It's just random information. So then we move on to mistake number 3, inconsistent branding. This is the one of the ones that I see a lot. How many of you know that it takes 7 to 13 touches now to get a client to do business with you? Yeah. How would you like to, if you put out one ad in print, in a publication, and a flyer that gets handed out, and then something that gets mailed to them, if there is not consistent branding through each of them to identify that it's the same company, they are individual single touches. You did not make any advances. Instead of having 3 touches towards that 7 to 13, you've had 1, because they don't recognize that they're the same. So you want to make sure that throughout the media, all your marketing efforts, whether it's in print or online or anything that you do, that there's consistent branding. It doesn't mean that they need to be completely identical each time, because people, they get bored. They like to see some change, but there needs to be something about it that brands you and holds it together, like that purple swoosh and all of the things that they did. Many companies, they use a campaign. I mean, you've heard this term before, where the message is consistent for a certain amount of time. And then they change to a new campaign. When do you change? When the campaign's not working anymore. Products change, services change, industries change, and so do your customers. You need to be constantly aware of what they're looking for and make sure that your campaign is speaking to that. So mistake number 4 is using your headshot as the primary image. Now I get a little flack from this from the real estate folks all the time, but there's a reason. It's not for every industry. When you yourself are the brand, then you should be using your headshot, but only if you're the brand. As real estate professionals, yes, you are the brand, and your headshot should be there. But for most of the other industries, it's not a good idea. There's a couple reasons. Placing your photo on marketing materials can cause potential clients to not like you simply on how you look. You could remind them of their ex-wife or someone that did them wrong, and instantly they're not going to do business with you just on that. So you never even got the opportunity to tell them how you can help them. Just because you put that out there, and let's face it, there are prejudices in this world, from spouses to all different types of reasons why people might turn you down just based on how you look, without even being given the opportunity to present. Mistake number 5, wrong colors for your industry. Colors are very important. They can speak to an audience just as much as words. Choose them wisely. For instance, if you work in healthcare or in finance, red is not a color you want to be using. In finance, you're going to make people think you're losing money. In healthcare, you just don't want red.
Sorry.
Here's another one that is common. People come in, they want to do, oh, my favorite color is orange, and I have to have everything in orange.
No.
Big mistake. You need to find out what it is that your audience responds to, not what you like, and what your industry can support. When it comes to business, blues and greens are really good. Healthcare, the greens and blues again. When it comes to food, fast food restaurants, you're looking at reds, oranges, and yellows. They excite, they make you hungry. There's different emotions that they elicit. So you want to make sure that you're thinking about those carefully. So this was advertised as being learning the top 5 mistakes. Well, there's a bonus for you today. The people that didn't come are gonna miss out on the 5 essentials. So I'm gonna tell you what is good to have in your ad to make sure that you get the best response. So, first essential is a strong headline. You gotta know your target. How many of you know your target audience? Okay, it should be all of you. Identifying your target is a step that always gets overlooked. If you don't know who you're advertising to, how do you expect to get the proper response? It's like hanging up a dartboard and putting it behind my back and asking you to throw the dart.
That's a good idea.
You might randomly hit your target, but you're not going to have the success that you're looking for. You have to have somewhere to aim. If you can see it and you can point at it, then you can actually shoot that dart there and you can land on target and get your target audience. No target, no aim, smaller chance of success. So the headline, once you've got your target audience, you need to ask yourself what their needs are. A few weeks ago, or last month, we heard John talk about our 45-second commercial, about how you need to find out what their pain is and speak to the pain first. It's similar in your advertising. Craft your headlines to fit those pains or those needs. For example, you're a fitness coach and you want to target women who just had babies. Good headline is, are you looking to fit back into your favorite jeans? It's a target. It's not your only client, but you could do a campaign for a target that you're trying to get. Questions or bold statements tend to elicit better responses and gain more attention. Aggravating assault. If you had a spider problem in your house, you're going to be calling these people. So, essential number 2 is a strong image. That's pretty strong right there. Nothing barely says anything on the ad, but it speaks to you. Once you've got that perfect headline, you need an image that supports it. It's not just a random image. It can be an image of your product, but there needs to be a headline that pulls that in. They need to work together. A good image is one that can stand by itself, like the one we saw in the previous example. For example, if we go back to the fitness coach who's looking for moms who want to fit back into their old jeans, a good image would be something like this. Right away, if you're having trouble putting on your jeans in the morning, you're picturing yourself as soon as you see that. That makes you want to respond. So you do the same thing with your images that you choose to put in your ads. Essential number 3 is the body copy. You got to keep it simple. You've identified your target, chosen your headline. Now it's time for what supports it. You want ideally a short paragraph or a couple of bullet points, depending on the size of your ad. You only have the attention of the potential customer for a few seconds. They need to be able to get your message quickly. So it should flow from the headline, the image, through the copy to the last essential. So you need to make sure that you're grabbing their attention quickly. Should answer the question posed by the headline or back up the statement that you made. Essential number 4. This is the most important one out of all of them. If you leave this off, your ad is really not going to do much. The call to action. They see your ad, they like what they read, what do they do now? You hope they do, but if you don't tell them to, they might not. In order to get them to be a customer, to get that conversion, you have to give them a reason or something to do. Call now to get your free estimate. Of course, you've got to have your phone number there too. Visit our website and download our guide. But when they get to your website, there needs to be some type of lead capture form where they get their information before you give it to them, so you can track that information. See our full product line at whatever your website is. You can also use a specific landing page so you can track how well your ad is doing. So if your website is mycompany.com, you can say /chamber, because you put an ad in the Chamber magazine or the Chamber publication. So you know when people go to that landing page that that lead came from your advertising with the Chamber. There's different ways to do that. They used to do it a long time ago with 800 numbers, where you buy a different 800 number for your ad campaign so you could track the success of it. Here's another option. Get 10% off your first order with this ad or an offer code. Order this and get this, an upsell, something that they get as an added add-on. Time limits. Time limits are very important with the call to actions. They create that urgency, that need to respond right away. Things like book an event in June, get free delivery. Offer expires on this particular date. Biggest thing with that is you have to be very mindful of when the person's going to see your ad. If you're working with any type of magazine or publication, typically they're working 2 to 3 months ahead of when it actually comes out. So if you're placing an ad in a November, December edition, and you're saying it expires October 31st, that's not gonna work. They don't get it till November. It should be at least till the end of December. So be mindful of whenever you place your ad, ask them, when is this going to be received by the list, or wherever it's going? When is it going to be received? And make sure that they have at least 30 to 45 days to act on that offer. Essential number 5, your contact information. Had a few, quite a few that come to me, have their ad, and there's literally no contact information on it. Finally get to the point where you can reach and put your logo on it to seal it off. Logo is important, it does brand you, but it should be like a stamp in the corner, kind of like your signature on a personal letter. Your logo is that closing, this is us. Usually appears at the bottom, I've seen it at the top as well. It includes phone number, website, and address. If you're doing a digital ad for online publication, don't put your URL in the artwork. You're wasting precious space by putting that. The ad will be hyperlinked to your URL if it's a digital ad. And if needed, a lot of you are in finance and some other industries that require a bunch of legal copy. There is a certain point size that it needs to remain so that it's small, but so it's not intrusive, but it can't be too small to where they can't read it, otherwise you can get in trouble. But typically it's run across the entire width of the ad at the bottom. So here's a before and after example. A couple years ago, I did this presentation for SCORE. This was the flyer they made for me. Yeah, it didn't do much. And I said, are you kidding me? I can't put this out as a flyer for this workshop. No image, no flow, too much copy, no real appeal to appear, anything like that. This was what we did instead. Yes, the headshot is there, but it's because it was a speaking engagement, so they want to know who's going to be talking. So that's it for my presentation. I hope I gave you some valuable information. We have time for questions. Any questions?
Of course I have a question. Yeah, thank you.
There was something that I came up with about 10 years ago when I first had Charlie's Cause. By the way, I'm Diane with Charlie's Cause. It's pedestrian safety and awareness nonprofit. And I came up with, I was living in Hawaii, and I made 500 of these bumper stickers. 2 people wanted them. Now, I have it on my car. People are stopping me all the time and telling me their story. So 10 years fast forward, I'm thinking about printing them again, and I wanted your input. It says, stop for them, not on them. It's harsh, but it reminds me of the man with the, what do you think? It's bright yellow, it's our colors, yield sign, yellow and black. Thank you.
Is there an image on it?
No, it's just bold. At that time, I didn't have a nonprofit. I'm going to be talking to you about that.
Okay, so my suggestion for the bumper stickers, if you're going to repeat the print order, is to add a generic illustrated icon of someone walking through a crossing walk. in addition to those, because those words by themselves are not going to be understood without that graphic
That's true.
to help them understand that you're trying to protect pedestrians. As far as printing them and having them not get response, you also need to be in touch with what your customers are looking for and what people are looking for. Bumper stickers are not being used as much as they used to be. So you might rethink what you're doing with it.
How about the clings?
A cling for the window, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are more popular now than bumper stickers. So you need to do a little bit of research before you decide to do any type of marketing piece. Any other questions?
Right here. Get the microphone, don't worry. We got 11 microphones, don't worry. Running.
Hi, I'm Bonnie, and I'm with West Coast Business Equipment, and we do point of sale for restaurants, mostly bars, hotels, basically anything.
Funny, up here.
Oh,
Question.
okay, yeah, here's my question. Sorry. Okay, so obviously I'm really big into social media. I feel that, and my question is, how do you feel about social media ads? Are they, obviously social media is a very important part because it's digital, but is it worth it to even put money into, let's say, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter ads, or would you rather have us stick to more like pamphlets, papers, that sort of thing?
It is definitely a viable channel. Unfortunately, one of the sections I pulled out of this presentation was about the channels and different types of marketing and which ones are good for whom. So what you need to identify, again, you take your target audience, find out what social media channel that they are on, and use that social media channel. And yes, the ads do work. You just need to make sure that your ad is crafted correctly, and make sure that you're on the right social media channel for your target audience. Facebook is typically women over the age of 35. Instagram is where the youth are. Snapchat is where the youth are. LinkedIn is more for business-to-business sales. So they do work. It should be in conjunction with something else, an email campaign or a print campaign. You don't want to do it just by itself and rely completely on that. And the biggest key to advertising is repetition. You cannot do one ad and expect a response. You need at least 3 appearances before you're going to start to see responses.
Hi, good morning, Kim. Great presentation. My question is, many of us already have a brand and a logo. So what are some of the key steps to changing your brand? And how do you sort of reintroduce yourself to the market?
You want to be careful with that because your logo and your brand is important. If you have a following, you want to keep it for at least 10 years before you make any changes because that is your brand. There are other ways, like I said, to brand your company where we could do a different type of branding and still be using your logo. Even if it has the wrong colors, there are ways to use that same logo with changing. The colors of your logo are, like I said about the colors earlier, if they're wrong, don't worry about that. There are other ways to address it, to go out and change it, especially if you have a track record with that logo. Now, if you have no response and don't have a ton of customers yet, changing your logo is not going to matter. It's you're not getting that traction right now anyway. So, but if you have that traction, you want to be very careful and get some advice on that.
Thank you very much. Don't leave yet. So, don't leave yet. Don't leave yet, I'm sorry. You. So I just wanted to present you one of our coins. I know you have one, but I appreciate you taking the time and serving. I know your heart, not just today, but always is to go out and serve and give. And so I appreciate your heart and what you do. As the chairman of the board, I appreciate your input in helping us at the chamber, but again, in the community, in your church, and everything you do. So I just appreciate your heart, and I want to give you another coin at your service. Okay, thank you. So again, for Kim.